Top of the table clash pitted the champions against their unexpected challengers on New Year's Day. Second place Lens hosted leaders Paris Saint-Germain. However extravagantly, PSG may have celebrated their 96th minute winner over Strasbourg during the week. Had said he wasn't worried about his players having celebrated too hard on New Year's Eve, but his side would fall behind after just 4 minutes. Sadio Haidara's cross palmed away by Gianluigi Donnarumma, but only into the path of Przemyslaw Frankowski. The Pole turning home calmly on the volley to give the hosts the lead after just 4 minutes. Barely 3 minutes later, it would be all level again. Jordi Mukiele finding Hugo Ekitike in the box, and the 20-year-old did excellently to control the ball and get his shot away. Just beating Brisomba to the ball, Salis Abdulsalamed as well, finding a gap to fire the ball inside the near post. His second goal in Paris blue. Then Lens on the counter-attack. A brilliant ball by captain Seko Fofana, releasing Lois Openda. And the forward kept his head and then found the net. Pigeon dance to celebrate and maybe mixing up the pecking order at the top of the league. Marquinhos' 2023 starts as badly as his 2022 finished, with the centre-back sent halfway back to Qatar by Openda's turn. PSG then played themselves into trouble as they tried to work it out from the back. Lens pouncing, a nice back heel by Openda, and this time Alexis Claude-Maurice with the finish. 3-1, a huge win for Les Sanguilleurs, inflicting a first defeat for the champions this campaign, moving to within 4 points of them at the summit, perhaps showing they do have what it takes to push them all the way. Having posted eye-catching wins to close out 2022, Montpellier and Marseille began the new year with Monday evening's meeting at Stade de la Mosson. After something of a stalemate in the first half, OM needed just 2 minutes to break the deadlock after the break. Nuno Tavares keeping his cool on a rebound, cutting the ball onto his right and hammering it into the roof of the net. Goals in back-to-back games for the Arsenal loanee, and that his 5th of the season. The game's intensity spiked after the opener, and soon enough Les Olympiens had doubled their lead. Chancellor Mbemba wheeling away like he'd scored, but it was in fact Maxime Esteve who had nodded the ball into the top corner of his own net. Not that he'd be overly keen to claim the own goal, but that's how it would go down in the record books. The subject of unwanted statistics, not long after claiming his 5th goal of the season, Tavares would pick up the first red of his professional career, and the hosts would make the most of their numerical advantage. An error in judgment, Paul Lopez misjudging a punch and punching Benny Makuana. Teji Savanier, the man to step up, make no mistake with the penalty. It was too little too late. Marseille claim a 4th straight win as Montpellier drop back to 14th. Rennes and Nice were looking to return to winning ways when they met at Roazhon Park in the final game of matchday 17. The hosts produced the perfect response to their 17-match unbeaten run coming to an end last time out. Lovely backheel from Amin Gouiri, the former Nice forward. Ano Kalimwendo's shot blocked by Dante, but Martin Terrier lashing the ball past Kasper Schmeichel just 6 minutes into the game. 9th of the season. Where then, having had a spectacular effort tipped over shortly before, Ross Barkley had another go and this time found the top corner. Special strike to earn the Englishman his first Ligue 1 Uber Eats goal since his summer move from Chelsea. With the final seconds ticking down and the game seeming destined for a draw, Rennes conjured up one last chance and they made it count. Benjamin Bourigeaud meeting Flaviente's pass with a clinical finish. 2-1 the final score. Rennes extend their run of home wins to 8, as Nice's 8-match unbeaten run comes to an end. Following a dramatic late win in midweek, Monaco continued their pursuit of the podium at home to lowly Brest. And they nearly took the lead numerous times in the first half. Diata denied for the 3rd time in quick succession. And last week's sensation, Ben Seguir, not quite able to make the finish this time. Breakthrough would arrive shortly after half-time though, and in some style, courtesy of Alexander Golovin, the Russian with great feet, and then a finish to match. A beauty from the edge of the box, finding the corner of Marco Bizot's net for a 4th goal of the season. Late on, Brest would get one real chance to snatch a point. Steve Monnier with the header, but only able to find the bar. 1-0 the final score. The Monegasques move up to 4th, following a 7th straight edition of this fixture to favour the home side on the day. Bottom side Angers aim to halt their slide towards the trapdoor as they welcomed another side in something of a free-fall Lorient to Stade Raymond Coppa. The latter slide is from a far higher position. The unexpected early season front runners being slipped from 2nd to 7th. Looked as though they might fall further still as Abdallah-Dipo rose highest and gave his side a valuable lead. But heading into the final 10 minutes, again SIMA rose highest, but this time unfortunately diverted the ball into his own net. Finding the same net with a similar header to the one an hour or so earlier, a dream becoming a nightmare for SIMA. The score had been just 15 minutes from what would have been a huge result, but in the 88th minute, Dango Ouattara found Ibrahima Kone, who laid it off for Enzo Lefebvre, hammered into the roof of the net to complete the turnaround for Les Merlus. Dramatic win that hands Lorient a first success in 7 games and moves them back up to 6th. Lille and Reims were both looking to begin 2023 how they ended 2022 with a win. Visitors had been proving tough to beat of late. In fact, unbeaten in their previous 8 domestic fixtures, they would fall behind here. Great work by Remy Cabella on the left, finding Jonathan Bomba, his shot saved, but Jonathan David there for the rebound. Frustration and no goals at the World Cup for the Canadian, but back on the score sheet in Ligue 1 Uber Eats. Pace of the game began to slow down late on, but substitutions paid off for Reims. A step over from Arba Zenelli as one substitute would set up Jens Kayuste, another for the equaliser. 1-1 the final score, perhaps the most likely result in a sense. Lille extend their unbeaten home run to 6 games, while Reims record a 5th successive draw on the road. Clermont began 2023 in search of their first ever victory over Lyon in the French top flight, and they travelled to the Groupama Stadium. They went close early on with 17-year-old Saïl Koumbedi, his first top flight start. Visitors did finally get going, breaking down the left. The ball played to Koman Andrić, Serbian producing a strong left-footed shot. Well saved by Anthony Lopez. Portuguese at full stretch to keep the game level. Just as it looked as though the game might fizzle out, the visitors earned themselves a penalty. Ray-John Kie's ball in, catching the outstretched hand of Castello Luquiba. After a VAR check, Stephanie Frappart pointing to the spot. Mohamed Cham, the man to step up. And the 22-year-old Austrian making no mistake into the bottom left corner. They'll keep their heads in the final minutes to secure a massive victory. Their first over OL in 34 years, and one that moves them back into the top half. A pair of newly promoted sides squared off as Toulouse hosted Ajaccio. First top flight meeting between the sides since 2014. Neither side managed to take control of a scrappy first half, but just 60 seconds into the second, TFC would find the breakthrough. Dejaguer running at the defence. Nice footwork and a nice pass. Rafael Ratau, first of the ball, finding the bottom corner. A quarter of an hour later, the same pair would invert to double the hosts' lead. The ball put through to Ratau on the left, cutting back nicely, lifting the ball in, and Dejaguer with another piece of class, volleying coolly past Benjamin Loa. Toulouse rediscover that winning feeling. As for all Ajaccio's recent heroics, they fall back down to just one spot above the relegation zone. Having come so close yet so far to taking an unexpected point against runaway leaders Paris Saint-Germain, Strasbourg hoped to turn over a new leaf in the new year as they took on Troyes. It was the latter who opened the scoring after a quarter of an hour. Wilson Odebert's shot blocked but falling perfectly for the lurking Renaud Ripard. First goal of 2023 for ESTAC, first goal under Patrick Kisnorbo as well. And just 3 minutes later, it would get worse still for the home supporters. Alexander Djiku finding himself on the floor, trying to clear, but only laying it up for Ronnie Lopez. 2 shots, 2 goals. Certainly not a happy new year for the Racing faithful. showing their displeasure. The hosts did manage to reduce the arrears before half-time. The cross cleared, but not by Lice, who was then out of position. Jean-Ric Bellegarde heading the ball over the keeper, and Diallo there to force it home. 7th goal of the season for the Senegalese. And then 19-year-old right-back Ismaël Doucouré produced a goal of the season contender. The teenager's first professional goal. Not a bad way to get off the mark. Hitting his side back level as well. Goal of the season contender or not, Doucouré's goal would in fact have competition just for the honour of goal of the match. Xavier Chevalerin with an incredible volley. 3-2 to ESTAC, who move up to 13th. Strasbourg, meanwhile, still with just one win, remain rooted down in 19th. Both battling at the wrong end of the table heading into 2023. Nantes and AUXERRE kicked off the new year in search of 3 precious points. Even with Antoine Combrari still on the sidelines, the Canaries started well and eventually found the breakthrough via Marcus Coco. Brilliant reverse through ball, releasing him. And the substitute making no mistake. Able to make the breakthrough against ESTAC a few days ago. Keeping his head. They almost undid all that hard work immediately. A minute or so later, AUXERRE with a corner down the other end. Jabal striking the woodwork with a header. Getting in front of Nicolas Pallois, but not quite finding the net. One final chance. Lafont able to save again. First league win since mid-October for Nantes. AUXERRE fall further into danger. The first Ligue 1 Uber Eats games played on January the 1st since the matchday 22 of the 1960-61 season. And it ended with 25 goals, no goalless draws. The obvious standout result, Paris Saint-Germain and Lens, and the number 2 team now 4 points away from the leaders. At the bottom, Angers and Strasbourg miss opportunities to move themselves up and are now respectively 7 and 4 points from safety. Just a week or so to wait until match day 18, all 10 games on the same day, and first plays last as PSG look to bounce back against Angers.